As promised, we're going to talk about the polls, and to do so, we've got a terrific tag team, a dynamic duo, two gentlemen who some have called the cast from Lethal Weapon, the Golden Years. In reality, we call them the consultant and the cop. First, a political commentator and Newsmax insider, Clarence McKee. Clarence, also the president of McKee Communications. He's right here alongside me. And at the far end of our anchor desk, former Florida police detective Tom Whatley. Guys, we really appreciate you being here. Now, the Bloomberg Politics poll, as I referenced earlier, has Donald Trump ahead in the Sunshine State by 2 points. It is within the margin of error. Clarence, this thing is really close. Let me just reference a couple other things. You've got him 2 points ahead here. He has lengthened his lead in Ohio to 4 points. All this stuff, though, so close to the margin of error as to suggest a dead heat.
It's like a ping pong match, back and forth. But when it comes to Florida, I look at a poll called by Associated Industries of Florida. It's a very respected conservative business group. They have Mr. Trump behind 3 to 5%. And they look at the election this way. You have 71% turnout, about 9.2 million people. If you keep that margin 3 to 4 or 5% for her, it equates to about 250,000 to 400,000 votes for her, which is an electoral landslide here. So the polls keep going up and up, and the big problem Mr. Trump has is the ground game, putting resources here into the state, not enough money coming out of New York, Hispanics, no advertising. She's beating him by, what, 50 million to 20 million in advertising?
Yeah, but thus far, it just doesn't seem to make a difference. Tom Whatley, another thing I want to ask you, since as a detective, you take in everything, and just have a couple of questions. But so I've got one for you. Sorry, I'm channeling the late Peter Falk as Columbia.
That's okay.
Just one thing. Down ballot, the Senate race.
Right.
Some polling has shown us that Marco Rubio may be up by as many as 10. If that's the case, will we have kind of an interesting paradox where Rubio helps bring Donald Trump through?
He may do that, but what I look at more than anything else is the independents, because the independents are up by 11% since the 2012 election. So what that tells me is we've had a drop in the Republicans, we've had a drop in the Democrats. In this county alone, the independents, where we're at now, they actually outnumber the Republicans. So those are the ones to watch. They're the quiet ones. They're the swing votes, and they determine. I think they're all going to lean toward, most of them are going to lean toward Trump.
Of course, the other thing about Florida, it is a microcosm of the nation, and it's what makes it so interesting. Plus, of course, those 29 electoral votes. The old joke in Cook County, Illinois, was vote early and often. We've changed it basically nationwide to just vote early. And boy, you take a look at what's going on now. Our parent website had the article about early voting. Newsmax.com tells us early voting results bode well for Trump in key states. And Clarence, the other thing we've heard about this is that there is a projection, and Rasmussen bears this out in his polling. Trump is on track to win the most African-American support for a Republican nominee since back in 1960.
I would hope so. We've said, a lot of us have said that. In fact, one of your callers 2 weeks ago said, the black caller said, yes, I'm voting for him, and that there are a lot of other blacks who don't dare say it in public. But that would be great. That would be great. If you can get 20%, then all the other things we want for Hillary don't count.
And we just had the graphic up. It was 9%. Look at this. Back on October 3rd, he is growing the African-American vote. Clarence, if he gets in excess of 20%.
Oh, it's over then. Because that's going to take care of a lot of blacks who were coming out for Obama are not coming out for Miss Clinton. However, there are a lot of blacks who are upset. They understand when he talks about law and order, people being killed in the neighborhoods. Hillary and her crowd don't even think about those folks. So it's going to be a surprise. The big problem, though, is on this early voting, a lot of Democrats have caught up and learned the lesson of Republicans on absentee voting and voting early, and they're putting a lot of money into that. So independents are very key, but if the Democrats catch up to us, we're in trouble. But on the black vote, that would be phenomenal.
Tom, what are your neighbors telling you? Are they going down to vote early, or are people waiting for Election Day?
Well, I'm going to vote today after this segment. I'm heading to the local precinct to vote. One thing I can tell you is that the Republicans in this region, they're not as aggressive as the Democrats when it comes to recruiting. They're not hitting the colleges. They're not hitting the key people that like to vote or want to partake in voting. You know, so I think if the Republicans, and especially in the Southeast, get a little more aggressive in their recruiting tactics, like the Democrats do, they would stand a much better chance in a lot of these down elections.
Let me tell you, though, especially in states with same-day registration,
Right.
the scam that the Democrats pull out in Montana, they go to University of Montana, Montana State, hold a beer bust, then bust the kids down, have same-day voting. They have got a full-tilt scam going. What we want to engage in is a conversation with you, no matter where you may be, at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. And to that end, we've got a call from Detroit, Michigan. Pearl is on the line. Hi, Pearl.
Hi.
What's on your mind?
My mind is so full of everything, you have no idea. I'm 85 years old. I'm not happy with movie stars taking over, like Amy Schumer, deciding to make it a political thing on her program. And all the newsmen, as far as I'm concerned, except your station, is all Democrats. And they're all one-sided, and I think they all want to be movie stars.
Well, Pearl, God bless you. It is star power out there. And let me tell you, again, I mean this as a compliment, Pearl. Don't want to dabble in age, but don't want to be called an ageist. But my gracious, you do not sound 85, and you are on top of things, and you're on to something about the cult of celebrity. When it comes to Megyn Kelly and Newt Gingrich, that is a subject we will concentrate on tonight on Newsmax Prime, but it has changed, and we do try to take a different approach here, Clarence. Now, look, I would mix it up on the House floor, and I will offer an opinion in a discussion show. But when I have on presidential candidates, even those with whom I disagree, I say, wait, this is their chance to answer questions, not my chance to debate them. It looks like the celebrity cult cable news networks have developed this kind of star system, like Pearl is talking about, where they want to fight. They want to fight with their guests.
I was rather surprised at Megyn Kelly last night. I couldn't believe all this was going on, and she was really, really partisan, calling him a predator. I've never seen her do that before. I don't know if it goes back to her other incident with Trump or not, but it really was unlike her. You have there are not many Mike Wallaces around, and there are not many Sean Hannitys. Most of the others around the media, as you know, are nothing but adjunct professors.
There's just a small fine for mentioning Hannity. Or no, I'm just kidding. That's fine. It's okay. Hey, listen, let's take a look, Tom. I'll get your reaction. Newt offered a tweet about Megyn Kelly. For the record, Megyn Kelly was wrong. I don't have anger management issues. I do have media bias issues. At the conclusion of that interview last night, Tom, Megyn trying to give him the last word, saying, yes, Mr. Speaker, you can deal with your anger management issues. And Newt, with the perfect rejoinder, said, oh, you too.
It was good.
Right.
It was a good way to end it.
I watched that live last night. My mouth dropped. And I'm not a Megyn fan, but I just happened to be watching last night, and I couldn't believe when I heard her say that. And then she could not come out, and Newt, so expert, he said, well, but Bill's going to be, he has the potential of being in the East Wing. Will you say it? Say the words, and she could not say it.
Yeah, it was very interesting to watch that. And again, tonight, we are really going to devote some time to it on Newsmax Prime. Now, in the minute and a half remaining, be remiss if I didn't talk. We touched on down ticket races, Clarence, a couple of minutes ago. We are getting reports, and again, we also had it at Newsmax.com, our website. Apparently, Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans are a little concerned. Well, maybe a lot concerned. They've just dragged down and reserved for their own races $25 million to try and keep the Senate majority. It's being portrayed as panic. Is it panic, Clarence?
Yes. The only thing, if Hillary Clinton wins, the only thing that'll protect this country basically will be the United States Senate to block some of the confirmations. So I don't know where where the leadership has been in the party, like Ryan and McConnell. They should have started this months ago instead of running away from Trump. So now they've got toss-up elections, The only one who's kind of secure is Ohio, Toomey. All the others are
Actually, he's
toss-up.
Pennsylvania, and that still is a little curious. We'll have to wait and see.
What's his name?
Rob Portman, you're thinking of
Portman.
in Ohio. My old colleague calls Cincinnati home and served with me on the Ways and Means Committee. Rob reached out across party lines, got the inoculation set, and of course his opponent is Ted Strickland. He's fortunate in that regard. Criticism of Ted Strickland. He served in the House. One thing about Ted, he's a persistent politician, but it does look good for Rob Portman. And I'm sorry, we're down now where I want to appeal to everybody at home. As you can tell, Clarence and Tom want to continue the conversation, and so do we with you at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. We will continue the conversation right here on America Talks Live.